It is time for volleyball chatter on the show. Jeremy Deckard joining us now, a Prep Dig Kansas scout. Jeremy, appreciate you jumping back on the show, and I love how you're kind of making that parade. We talked with Rick Peterson with Top Sports News, and he's like his prep parade. You're kind of doing that parade throughout Kansas, just kind of keeping up with all the schools and the players and watching different matches. And you're a busy guy.
I am a busy guy, and I appreciate the time to be invited back for a second time on the show. I've been keeping tabs on it, and I love what you're doing. But before we talk about volleyball, I have a question for you.
Oh, this is not how the
And
show works, but go ahead.
I'm going all hot rod, Roddy Piper on you because just when you think you know what the answers are, I change the questions. So I'm not a expert on podcasts.
Okay.
But one thing I've always noticed when I have watched one is every host typically has a sidekick, and they also typically have bobbleheads and stuffies and sports memorabilia in the background. So I'm wanting to know, is there a plan to have a sidekick, and where's the bobbleheads?
Well, we're in the very infancy ages or stages of the show, so I don't know about the sidekick. Now the bobbleheads, I have a few like Royals and whatnot, but like for a high school show, I wanted to, maybe that wasn't really relatable. So the only thing like flair that I put out there, I'm a big fan of penguins. So if you see this little guy, he's speaking in the microphone. So I mean that's like my favorite animal. So I threw him in there just for kicks.
Well, I got prepped up, so I brought my favorite bobblehead, Mickey E.
Hey,
Moose. All right, the Winnipeg Jets and Manitoba Moose mascot. And then I also grabbed my favorite stuffy, the Curse Breaker Chicago Cub Billy Goat that they came out with in 2004. So this was like a full 12 years before they won the World Series in 2016. So I wanted to break that out on you. I
all right.
appreciate it.
I haven't had any need to break any curses yet, but if I do, I'm definitely going to get one.
Nice. So I thought what I'd do is just give you an update on some of the players and teams that I saw last week scouting. It was an impressive week. I saw some really good matches and was really impressed by some of the individual performances during the first week of the season. So I started off with two matches in Meriden, Kansas. I scouted Jefferson West High School against St. Mary's. And then I also saw Nemaha Central defeat St. Mary's. Jeff West, they have only lost one match so far, and they beat Seaman, which, of course, is a powerhouse, much larger school. They're young. Seaman's young this year, but Jeff West came out on top, and then they ran the table in a tournament this weekend and didn't drop a single set. Three players I wanted to mention on that team. Addison Schwinn, she's a senior, probably their most physical hitter. She had 10 kills in the match that I scouted against St. Mary's. And then you have the Dean sisters. Harriet Dean is a junior. She had 16 assists at Seton for the Tigers against the Bears. And then Emmy Dean, a sophomore, she had a really nice all-around game. She's a 6 rotation talent. She had 5 kills, 2 digs, and 3 aces in the win over the Bears. Those three, all three in the rankings, and you can kind of tell by their depth when you have a senior, a junior, and a sophomore, all three ranked in the Prep Dig rankings. Nemaha Central, that was a team that really surprised me. I knew they were going to be young, but I didn't know how talented their young talent was. They have 2 sophomores who really took me by surprise and had excellent hitting nights. Meg Honeyman is a sophomore. She had 6 kills, and so did Macy Holthouse, another sophomore who had 6 kills and added a block in their win against St. Mary's. Then Thursday, I took a 300-plus drive out to Western Kansas to see Ellenwood versus Beloit. And that was a match that also had an interesting outcome. I went to Ellenwood last year and watched the same 2 teams play, and Beloit pretty much thumped Ellenwood. Well, Ellenwood, the Eagles, they turned the tables on the Trojans on this trip. They ended up winning in 3 straight sets. They've got 2 seniors who are already verbally committed to play college ball. Kendall Moore, who will be going to Emporia State, and Reagan Widener, who will be going to Fort Hays State. But the 2 players who really stood out this time for me were their setters, junior Olivia Batchman and sophomore Meta Maxwell. They shared the setting duties in the win over Beloit. And those 2, if either one of them was the primary setter, would have a shot at breaking some setting records in assists. With them sharing the time, they're still putting up positive numbers, but it makes them so much more difficult to defend when you have 2 setters playing at that elite level. Then this weekend, I went to a tournament in St. James Academy. They played a round robin tournament. I watched 2 early matches there this weekend. The first one was Mays South, the Mavericks, who defeated the Olathe South Eagles in straight sets. And then the second match was St. James Academy, the host. They defeated Mays South in 3 sets after losing in 3 sets to Olathe Northwest in their first match of the morning. A couple players from Mays South I'd like to talk about. Autumn Pop, she's their setter. She had 33 assists in the 2 games that I watched. She is verbally committed to Wichita State and was a player that I nominated for the Kansas Sports Chatter Performance of the Week. Sage Elian, a sophomore, had an outstanding game all around, 6'1". Her defensive skills are what really surprised me. I knew she could hit, but she played a lot better defense than I expected from her. And then they also have Bella Cook, a junior, who's already verbally committed to Iowa State, and she's a physical specimen on the front row and moves really fast. Then for St. James Academy, 2 hitters really stood out for them. Madeline Etler is a junior who plays middle. She's already committed to Warford. She is a physical specimen who, and I told her this when I went up and talked to her after the match. She might be the most physical athlete I've seen since Brooklyn DeLay at Washburn Rule.
Wow.
She is just a thick, strong, powerful. She can hit through and power through blocks. I was really taken by her game. And then Maya Lee, who is a sophomore and is the number 2 ranked player in the Prep Dig class of 28. She put up some eye-popping numbers. She had 17 kills, 10 digs, and 13 serve receptions in the win over May South.
Well, Jeremy, before we let you go, you mentioned, like keeping track of some of those records. And I know you wanted to make a plug for coaches and officials out there, administrators, especially on the volleyball side. Make sure you use Max Preps and get those stats out there.
Yeah, I mean, I can only be in so many places at once. And there are so many teams I would like to see, and there are so many athletes that I would like to feature on our website and provide exposure to. And unfortunately, right now, and it's across the board, it's just not volleyball. It's football, volleyball, basketball. Not enough coaches are putting their stats out there publicly. And as a former teacher, as a former coach, I know they're busy. All right. And I can empathize and sympathize with them, because I remember the last time I coached football in Kansas, it was a small school. We didn't have equipment to film a game. We didn't have headsets that worked for coaches. I had nobody who could keep track of stats. I mean, I could, but I was trying to coach the game. So sometimes it's not possible. But this, podcasts like yours, newspaper coverage. I know Brent Maycock at Keisha. I've seen him on social media at times talking about the number of people and coaches that respond to their questionnaires. If those stats are out there, it makes it easier for us to write about and provide exposure to our college coaches that subscribe to our website, so they have something to compare with. And so the more coaches that use Max Preps, the better. There are other avenues. Max Preps is probably the easiest one to use.
Mm-hmm.
But even if a coach just has stats and they're not posting them on Max Preps, put them out on social media. Send them to you in an email. Send them to me in an email, whatever. So I did want to highlight 4 players who currently right now are leading the state unofficially, because not everybody's using max preps. But here are the 4 players right now after everybody's played somewhere between, the fewest number of matches so far, about 4. I've seen some who played a dozen already. But here are the 4 players I wanted to mention. Olivia Stein out of Ingalls. She's a Wichita State verbally committed athlete. She has 105 kills so far in 14 sets and is unofficially leading the state in kills. Morgan Froese from Inman. She's leading the state in blocks with 35 in 10 sets played. Riley Jessup from Concordia is currently leading the state in assists with 190 in 18 sets. And then Haley Fannenstell from Norton currently is leading the state in digs with 120 in 19 sets.
Impressive numbers already right out of the gate. Jeremy, appreciate your time and safe travels this week when you go out to more matches.
Appreciate you. Thanks again.
That is Jeremy Deckard, a scout with Prep Dig Kansas. That'll do it for our volleyball chatter.